Hey guys, welcome to a brand new story, and we're playing called Arcanum. It says an old woman curses a girl for her foul temper, banishing her and her entire city to a parallel world, but only the victim of the curse remembers who she is. You know, this kind of reminds me of a little bit of Beauty and the Beast and a little bit of a show called Once Upon a Time. So Beauty and the Beast, right? The prince kind of, being of nasty temper, kind of, was really rude to an unsuspecting hidden enchantress. And she decides to be so petty that she not only curses him, she curses everybody in the castle, which is obnoxious. And it also plays on the memory thing because, like, in the live action version, I hate it or love it, I like the extra information. It turns out that the people from the town just completely just didn't remember them at all. And Once Upon a Time is the same thing. Like, they don't know who they are. They didn't know the connections they had to each other, or that they were all fairy tale characters or anything like that. They didn't remember any of that, and they were, they were pushed away also into a different place from, the fairy tale land. They were kind of pushed into the real world or whatever, where there's no magic. So let's go ahead and get this started. That should be interesting. So let's press play. All right. Let's see. Have our new opening with tarot cards. As things looks like, I have no idea. But that girl is sufficiently creepy back there. Your story is about to begin, but first choose what you want to look like. All right. So fair skin tone, very fair, olive skin tone. Ooh, she has heterochromia. Ooh, she has what's it called? Vitiligo or something like that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, guys, wait. Hold on, hold up. Ah, I want to go for one of these. It's her heterochromia. It's freaking awesome. This is also awesome. Oh wow, that's different. I think these guys are just normal. Well, the usual, what you normally see. Guys, what do we do? Oh, I can't decide. Okay, how about I get to put this up to you guys? Okay, so new story. You guys help me decide. Do we go with olive skin tone or do we go with dark brown skin tone? Because of course we can change it at any point during when we get started. So for now, let's go with, it's okay. So let's choose olive or dark brown. Okay, that's the gist. But I don't know. Let's choose. Look at the hair. Wavy, dandelion, short. I like the wavy, but I also like the dandelion. That's fun. Wait, are those colors supposed to be there, or are they just lighting? Oh, they're lighting. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see what else the outfits we have. We'll go outfits first and then... Okay. Business style. Interesting. A current outfit. Guess we'll go business style. Let's try hairstyles. Nope. 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 Okay. I don't actually like any of these, so we're actually gonna stick with this. Okay, let's start. Here we go. Now, let's try to figure out how this guy going on. Chapter 1, The Punishment. The old man stumbled over the dangling flap of his robe and fell to the ground. He couldn't find the strength to get back to his feet, so he kept crawling, making his knees bleed. He stretched out his trembling hand to reach the painted walls of the cave. Oh, I beg you, hear me. I've lost my way and there's only darkness ahead. I know you're here. His prayers were heard and a blurred shape emerged out of the darkness. A deafening voice rumbled. Not everyone has the strength to walk their path to the end. We were endowed with eyes, but not sight. We stare into emptiness, and there's no way to see the road. The old man slavishly bowed his forehead to the ground, and then he heard the answer. You're right. Everyone is given a guiding line, but it's up to them how they use it. The old man felt the hardcover of a book under his fingers and immediately looked up. He opened it and took out a card. Nothingness. All you see now is emptiness, but the cards will help you know this world and find something more in it. Now go. The old man came out of the cave. His legs were trembling and barely obeyed him. His hands convulsively clasped the book to his chest. Selena was about to call it a day when her secretary's head popped into the office. May I? Come in. Okay, so our name is Selena. She had a cup of coffee in one hand and some crumpled documents in the other one. What's the matter, Emily? Selena's voice was like a whip. The secretary straightened up and held her breath in fear. Oh, Emily hated her so much. He really insists, I said. Without waiting for an invitation, a man burst into the office. He stopped at Selena's desk and asked impatiently, Are you the director of the Bridge Corporation? And you are? Also, what gives you the right to burst into my office like that? My name is Robert Stelz. I'm a detective. Selena's short patience came to an end. She plopped into the chair and said, You have 10 seconds to explain yourself before the security escorts you out. For a moment, Rob froze. He saw sitting in front of him a girl of about 27 years old. Her back was straight, she was composed and at the same time relaxed, and she had a bitchy grin all over her face. Though young, she looked down on him from behind her walnut wood desk. He looked at her with interest and calmly said, Great. I don't have time to waste either. We've been tipped off that a cook will be present during the City Day celebration. Selena was sorting through the documents if she lost interest and she asked, bored, A cook? Yes, I'm from the Anti-Narcotics Task Force. I want to carry out an operation to arrest him. The city government gave the go-ahead, but since you and your company are sponsoring the event, I also need to get your permission. Put the document on the table that Selena was supposed to sign. The choices you make now will change the course of the story. Some choices change the plot slightly, while others lead to significant changes. Shall I let him carry out the operation during my celebration? Yeah, why not? I don't care what you do. All I care about is attracting sponsors for my projects. Trying to block the view of my projects while you apprehend this cook of yours. They exhibit it all over the place. Bob was surprised by her cynicism but didn't answer and just nodded. She instantly signed the document. Emily, coffee. Selena held out her hand, waiting for her cup of coffee. But Emily's hand trembled. The lip came off and the coffee spilled all over the documents. Selena slowly turned her gaze to Emily. Emily? She stared at her in dismay. Selena's ice-cold voice rang out. I keep wondering why I keep you around. Remind me why? Sorry, I... Ashamed, Emily glanced at Rob. She didn't want anyone to witness her being scolded. Rob intervened. His voice was calm, almost indifferent. I think I'll go. Selena barely paid attention to his departure. You'll stay to make new copies. But we don't have copies. We'll have to wait for another fax. So you'll wait. But I promised my daughter to take her to the City Day celebration. She's waiting for me. I don't care, and she's like 1 year old. How much would she remember anyway? Why do I get the feeling that A, this girl is a little bit older than 1 year old if her mom made her a promise? And even if she isn't, this woman is out of control. Yeah, I kind of see why she gets cursed, dude. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Usually our main character, like on Sophie's 10 Wishes, usually we deal with the boss who's like this, but now we're that boss. She's 4. That's what I thought. I didn't think she was 1. Selena didn't answer. She took her bag and left, slamming the door. Emily stared at the boss's empty chair, choking on her own tears. Oh, she hated Selena so much. City Day was in full swing. There were long lines at each stall. Children ran across the road, throwing confetti. Here and there, balloons soared into the sky, escaping the small hands of their owners. Screams were coming from the concert area. Selena walked along the main road, looking at the designs of her future bridges. She almost never left the office lately. Only reason she came out of this town was to assess her investment. She felt unusually weird walking around the city. Selena stopped. She suddenly felt someone's gaze following her. She turned around sharply, but whoever was peeping at her emerged into the crowd and didn't want her to notice him. She heard a shot. Everyone froze and held their breath. Selena looked around quickly. What's going on? The crowd parted. Selena saw Rob holding some guy. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in court. For a while, she watched the cook try to break free while he was being handcuffed. Rob noticed Selena and nodded in gratitude for her permission. Suppose it can improve relationship with other characters. Rob is grateful for your cooperation. Selena was about to go home when she remembered that one of her projects was exhibited at the fair, and to check how they set up the booth. The fair was fenced off with an iron barricade. Entrance was made terribly narrow, which was why people impatiently pushed each other, trying to get inside as soon as possible. A woman was walking on the right. She slightly tipped over to the side and leaned the entire weight of her body on Selena. Damn. Selena pushed her away a little. The woman turned to her indignantly. Hey, take it easy. Where are your manners? That's a difficult situation. Someone just randomly leaned on me. I wouldn't have shoved them, but like, why are you touching me? Like, are you drunk? Are you okay? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I would have shoved them though. Some choices increase the value of the Emperor or High Priestess. Choose what's right for you. In the future, these values will affect the plot of the story. Emperor or the High Priestess? You're the one who needs to take it easy, you impotent. Point out she was wrong. Be benevolent and keep silent. It's hard for me to be mean. So, you already know how I'm gonna go. So I don't go to places like this. Situations like this are unavoidable. The woman was still indignant while making her way through the crowd. Let her talk whatever she wants. Her head must be splitting. Selena walked past her, ignoring the annoying look of the stranger. She had to walk around the whole fair to find her project. I knew it. With no direct supervision, these fools did everything wrong. A lonely stand stood away from the attractions and souvenir shops, surrounded by the smell of a public toilet. Emily dropped the ball. Again. The girl is useless. Oh, if you only knew how many useless things exist in the world. And the old woman stumbled out of the darkness. She smelled of urine and impending death. Selena was obviously disgusted by her. For example, you, office plankton. How are you contributing to the world? If you die, no one will notice. She spat out these words, instantly looking Selena in the eyes as if probing her. Say what you want, old hag. I don't care about you. Without waiting for an answer from Selena, the old woman spoke again. Enjoying the event? She had a raspy voice. Her mouth smelled of rotten teeth. Her nails were yellow and long. Not really. It was too expensive. Selena answered without any emotion, but couldn't contain the wariness in her eyes. A woman walked back and forth in front of her, like a predator before jumping on its prey. Expensive. Does money mean anything? Only those who have no money think like that. Selena cautiously took a step back. What does she want from me? A woman laughed, shook her head, and waved her hand. Only then did Selena notice that the old lady was holding the withered corpse of a snake biting its own tail. Noticing the girl's gaze, the old woman raised the creature even higher. It happens sometimes in nature. A snake can confuse its own tail with something else. Say a hare ran along it, the snake confuses the snake, and it decides its tail is prey. The old woman laughed again. Ironic. She started to cough. To hell with this. I was wasting my time with her. Without a word, Selena turned to leave, but the old woman rushed to her, grabbed her hand, and muttered, "Where do you think you're going?" No, wait a second. Selena tried to escape, but the old woman turned out to be surprisingly strong. "Let me go. Give me a couple of coins since you say money is so important. Help an old lady out." Selena jerked her hand away and wiped the wrist the old woman touched on her pants. So just change the value of your redemption. Higher or lower redemption values can dramatically change the point of your story. Okay, redemption. Interesting. So this is a redemption story. Huh. What to do? Give money, don't give her anything. Well, obviously we want higher redemption than lower. Selena took out a few bills and handed them to the old woman. "Here you go, now get lost." "God bless you, baby. There's still a drop of light left in you." The old woman reached for the money, but instead of taking it, she grabbed Selena's wrist again. "No, that won't work. This is wrong." "What do you want? Let me go." This time the old woman squeezed her wrist so hard, Selena lost her strength to fight back from the pain. In a panic, she scanned the crowd looking for help, and noticing the police, she shouted, "Help, please!" "Hush, don't shout. What can an old lady do to you? Just talk to me." Why are you grabbing me? Like, we don't even know this woman. Lost, old hag. She shouted again to the crowd, "Police!" Finally, the police heard the plea and moved in her direction. Rob was among them. The old woman instantly released Selena. "Detective Stelz, what's going on here?" "Nothing. We were just chatting, Detective." "Just chatting?" Selena stretched her hand out so that she could see the marks on her wrist. "She grabbed me and she extorted me for money. Now get out of here. Get her out of here now." Selena was trembling. Why did she speak to that woman? Why did she let her touch her? Rob nodded to the cops, giving silent permission to act. One of the officers tried to take the old woman out delicately, but she started to put up a fight. "Calm down, we won't hurt you. These guys will get you some hot tea." Selena thought she saw judgment in Rob's eyes, so she asked him, "Would you like to say something to me?" Rob chuckled. "It's scary even talking to you." Police picked up the old woman and led her to the exit. Old woman obediently followed the officers, but suddenly she looked over her shoulder and shouted, "Everyone here has an animal and a human skin, and you are a special breed." Her face was distorted by a grimace of hatred. She barely looked like a human at that moment. "Damn you. May the universe respond with rudeness to your rudeness and indifference to your indifference. I curse you." I'm gonna need a little bit more information on why this woman is so aggro to someone she doesn't know. Like, she came up to me out of nowhere. Like, and she's like grabbing me and stuff like that. And then I called the police to get away from her because she obviously wouldn't let go. She was stronger than she put on. Like, I would be scared too. I'm real confused about this. Like, I'm guessing this woman saw into her soul or something or what have you. But I'm just kind of real confused on what's going on right now. Like, oh goodness, you can see that little thing from the cover in the background. Selena backed away, unable to hide her fear. The old woman was looking right into her soul. Okay. The rays that distorted her face was so tremendous that it was indeed frightening. But why is she so angry? Unless this old woman is like connected to Emily somehow. And the last straw that sealed the craziness of the moment was a clap of thunder that rumbled right after the crazy old lady stopped talking. Selena felt uneasy. Take the woman away, she's had enough. The old woman kept trying to turn around and look at Selena. She disappeared from the sight. The sky calmed down. Don't take her words too close to heart. It's unlikely that she was even fully aware of her actions. Rob noticed that Selena was affected by the old woman's prediction. Although she tried to hide it, those words hurt her. Selena awkwardly straightened her suit and looked at Rob. Don't look at me that way. Everything's fine." "What way?" "With pity. Believe me, pity is the last thing I feel for you." Is he flirting or insulting me? Considering with how he saw you acting before, I'm just going to take that as an insult. A deserved one, though. Selena tried to calm her pounding heart. She still couldn't shake off the feeling of helplessness that took over her as soon as the old woman grabbed her. Would you like an escort, or are you good on your own? What? Oh, you're still here? Who's gonna be purchased for diamonds? Okay. Sure, escort me, I guess. Rob smiled slightly. Selena walked past him as if she hadn't noticed that. Rob followed her a couple of steps behind as if he were a bodyguard. Selena could feel Rob's gaze on her, but pretending to be focused on exploring the fair. Too many people. Does they actually enjoy wasting time on pointless rides and fast food? Yes. The crowd didn't bother Rob. He put up walls between himself and the outside world a long time ago. Interesting. Maybe that's why he was amused by how tense and uptight Selena was. In her office, she felt like a fish in the water, and among people, she looked like a pufferfish on dry land sticking out its spikes. He noticed Selena turning around slightly, feeling his gaze on her. Selena suddenly spoke to him without turning around. Do you like your job? I find a meaning in it. Meaning? Yes, my work has a certain meaning for me. What about you? Selena remembered how she looked at the first bridge built by her. As she peered into the horizon on the other side and saw her mother's face, Selena wished she could build a bridge to her past, but all she could do was build one onto the future. Yes, definitely. They fell silent again. The scene with the old woman unsettled Selena, and she was grateful to Rob for accompanying her. He didn't try to initiate a dialogue. At first glance, it seemed that he wasn't particularly interested in her, yet Selena felt that this wasn't entirely true. She'd gotten used to acting tough around men and keeping her professional distance. She was always ready to stand up for herself and her ideas and show she was their equal. Selena forgot what simple human communication was like, where there were no bosses or subordinates. Selena was discouraged. Rob looked like a savage to her, and she didn't have the upper hand. She turned to look at him and squinted. He simply nodded. Rob was good at reading people. He knows the smallest details, and that helped him understand the person's character. In Selena's office, he saw who that girl was, and an arrogant boss who got used to the feeling that the whole world owes her something. Yet she forgot that the world wasn't revolving around her. Somehow, Selena's fear of the old woman reminded him that she was only human. You and Rob became a little closer. Some passerby jumped out in front of Selena, and she recoiled, bumping into Rob. Selena felt Rob's body. She felt the gentle touch of his fingers touching her waist, and it excited her. She recoiled in fright. Selena turned to Rob. Their eyes met. Sorry. It's okay. Selena stepped away from the detective. She was a bit confused and needed to do some thinking. She realized that she might have looked stupid in his eyes and was angry with him for that. Selena pulled herself together as if those moments of weakness never happened. I can handle things from here. Thanks. Rob smiled as if he understood what thoughts were rushing through her head and nodded his head obediently. Whatever you say. Good luck. Are they still popping fireworks? Oh my god. Selena looked at him, disappearing in the crowd. She sighed with relief. Outside of work, men confused her and made her panic. She felt she was losing control around them, and Selena hated losing control. Thunder rumbled with renewed vigor. Lightning pierced through the black clouds. Selena froze. The old woman's words flashed through her head again. What came over me? Why did those words affect me so much? Selena panicked. The flickering faces of the random passersby began to frighten her. She wanted to run away and hide. She wanted to stop seeing those tipsy faces. She looked around. Selena's gaze fell on a tent. Arcanum. The strong wind was shaking its walls, but Selena felt enticed to go in. It looked dark inside. Selena couldn't explain it, but that tent seemed to be the only safe place in the entire fair. She quietly read the sign. Arcanum. For a moment, she considered turning around and running away, but the tent was calling to her, beckoning. For the first time, she submitted to something without questioning it or putting up a fight. Her legs walked towards the tent, and it seemed that the wind pushed her from behind. Selena stopped to get used to the darkness. Little by little, the outlines of the table and someone's silhouette wearing a dark hoodie began to emerge. Welcome, Selena. Did I get it? I got it. Okay. How do you know my name? The tarot reader pointed to a chair. Have a seat. Selena stubbornly remained in place. You didn't answer my question. Sit down. His order made Selena obey. She shuddered and sat down against her will. A stack of tarot cards lay on the table and several candles were strategically placed around them. Shadows moved around the tent, enticing the imagination. Selena. Her name echoed through the tent and inside her brain. White moon that brings light and truth. The moon that brings purification and harmony. Selena was silent, trying to make out the face hidden by the hood. He fell silent for a while as if he were searching for something at the bottom of her soul, and then summed up. You're not worthy of your name. You need to earn it. Only now Selena realized how quiet it was in the tent. It seemed like there was nothing left in the world beside them. It seemed that the moment she left the tent, she'd fall into an abyss. Selena jumped up, frightened by this thought. What are you? At that moment, she realized that it wasn't a human standing in front of her. There was nothing but darkness inside that hoodie. The voice was omnipresent, neither male nor female, as if the universe itself spoke to her. The tarot reader, not noticing Selena's panic, calmly continued. Let's see what the cards have to say. What fate and what trials have they prepared for you? The tarot reader slowly took the cards and began to lay them out one by one. Selena felt weakness in her legs and almost collapsed into the chair. I want to leave. Why can't I leave? Her body didn't obey her, and where would she go? Now the entire universe shrunk to the size of a tent. Selena gave in to the unknown force and looked at the table. The tarot reader held out 3 cards. They were spread out like a fan in front of Selena. This is your destiny. Look at it. Selena peered at the first image. She wanted to look away but couldn't. 7 of Swords. The swords depicted on the card seemed to pierce right through her body. 1. Selena flinched from unexpected pain. 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything turned dark before her eyes. The image of the tarot reader became blurry too. Selena tried to look at him, tried to say something, but the swords continued to stab her in the back. 6, 7. And as soon as the last sword pierced her through, the tarot reader's voice roared. Find the courage to look at your own fate. Selena opened her eyes. There were 3 cards in front of her, but only the first one took possession of her. It consumed everything around her. What's going on? Will meet us all. Selena heard a voice that sounded like it was extremely far away. Pray for your soul. The voice became louder, and the other voices emerged too. Selena stretched out her hand to the tarot reader, but he began to move further away from her, fading into the darkness. You can change your clothes and hairstyle anytime by clicking the wardrobe button. All people are sinners, but we must bear this burden and strive to atone for our sins. Selena looked around frantically. Dozens of people sat on the benches, fixing their gaze on a haggard old man wearing a torn tunic. Church? What am I doing in church? It was cold there, the air was still, and it smelled of incense. The shock that Selena experienced paralyzed her. Her brain was desperate to find an explanation for what was happening. Am I dreaming or am I going nuts? Pray, and God will hear you. Selena felt someone's touch. Her heart skipped a beat. Some guy put his hand on Selena's hand and squeezed her fingers. He bent down to her and whispered conspiratorially. I don't understand how my sister can stand listening to this fool. Selena didn't move. She just up and waited for what would follow. Her body didn't feel like her own. For the first time in her life, she was that confused. But the guy just added, no longer looking at her. It's the last time Josephine managed to drag me here. Who's Josephine? Little by little, the numbness subsided. Selena was able to breathe and move. She felt determined again. She got up. have to get out of here, wherever I am. Everyone stared at her at once. Some woman pulled her sleeve. What are you doing? Oh, she looks scary. Selena brushed her hand away, but then looked at her and was dumbfounded again. Her face. She looks like oh, that woman. Take it easy. Where are your manners? Sit down. You're embarrassing me. You were there at the fair. Liam, what is she up to again? Josephine, calm down. Liam got up, following Selena. Liz, what happened? He was talking to Selena, there could be no doubt about that. But why did he call her Lilith? Why did he act like they knew each other? Who are you? Selena recoiled from them as if she saw a ghost. Are they serious with that? These people and this annoying bass music. Like, I can't even. It's Monday night. Go away. Like, they act like this stuff is like cute or something. Like, and I think I just heard my baby wake up. That's so obnoxious. Like, I can't even. The priest fell silent. His voice was inaudible due to the murmurs of the crowd. Selena began to make her way to the exit. When she opened the doors, the light momentarily blinded her. So, where are we? And so Josephine is Liam's sister, and we're Lilith? First, Selena felt fresh air rush to her lungs. Next, she felt a strange smell, so different from the polluted, dusty city. When her eyes got used to the light, the first thing she noticed were brick houses, off-road scenery. What is this place? Selena rushed down some stairs, but stumbled and almost fell down. Then she jumped out onto the road. There were whistles and curses. Some choices have time limits. Think fast. Oh no. Bounced off to the side. Selena jumped away before realizing what was going on. A carriage with horses ran past her. God damn it. Fell to the ground and remained on all fours, dumbfounded, watching as the carriage departed. Lilith! Liam ran to Selena. Josephine, grabbing the hem of her skirt, clumsily tried to keep up with him. Liz, what's wrong with you? Are you hurt? Liam helped her up. Selena couldn't take her eyes off the road, finding it hard to believe she was almost hit by a carriage. This some kind of prank? Selena looked at Liam. He was puzzled and just nodded his head. Maybe I'm experiencing a psychotic break from the overwork. Finally, Josephine caught up with him. She hit Selena with her hat and scolded hysterically. What are you up to again? You caused such a scene at church. Took another swing at Selena, but Selena caught her hand angrily and threw it aside. Get your hands off. For some reason, Josephine was very scared of this gesture. She recoiled from Selena and immediately calmed down. You're nervous. Let's have some tea. You can explain what's come over you. Liam smiled affectionately at Selena. My sister is right. Let's go, Lilith. Selena stubbornly shook her head. Who is Lilith? What do you mean, you? You're Lilith. Oh dear, she's so troubled. You're a maid in my hotel. Do you remember? Selena burst out into a nervous laugh. A maid? Selena looked around. Ludicrously strange clothes, frail buildings, horses pulling carts, everything was so realistic. We met at the fair, do you remember? You were rude to me and thought I was trying to cut the line. Josephine looked at Liam, trying to find some support. She didn't seem to understand what Selena was talking about. She was questioning Selena's sanity. Lilith, let's go. Liam grabbed Selena by the elbow and gently led her along the road. This isn't real. I was drugged, or it's just a dream. It's just a dream. Mom was walking towards her. She was clearly in no hurry. Her gait was imposing and full of self-importance. When they got closer, Josephine bowed her head respectfully and Selena gasped, unable to contain her surprise. Emily. Thunder rumbled. Damn that old hag. I'm so confused. Like, why did these random people curse her? It would have made more sense for it to have been her secretary to have been the one to have cursed her. Like, I'm just confused. I don't fully hate it. I'm just a little confused. Oh, geez. That's kind of creepy. I'm sorry. So I got High Priestess, Redemption, and 2 major arcana. What does that mean? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
I dream about us, I dream about the start